Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The View from Here. We are transmitting, anyway, from behind enemy lines in the blue state of New Jersey. Michael is in the much freer state, although blue, of Pennsylvania. But anyway, we're here to enthrall you and educate you. Let's get on to by the way, last week, actually yesterday, the last episode we did, I posted it on Getter, posted it on Gab, posted it on Winkin, which is a new one, posted it on X, and let's see, I don't remember if I think I posted it on Facebook already, and we're on YouTube. I posted us. I opened a new channel for our podcast on YouTube. Okay. So we will be putting them there, and when I have time, I will be uploading the older ones to that channel.
That's crazy.
Right? So I'm trying to grow the thing, because if we can get 100 followers, then we can start monetizing on YouTube. Right now, we're monetized on Rumble because I was listening I was watching the podcast today on Rumble. I got 4 ads.
Wow.
4 ads popped up. During the thing, you can either skip it or listen to the whole thing, and then
it just goes to show you how desperate people are. They're willing to go anywhere to get information.
No, the ads are hopefully, people who watch it will start buying that, Oh, I'm sorry. We should really start with Michael's happy jar. He is, I see he's so hell-bent on starting already. He already took it out of the jar without asking me.
Well, that's because I told my son Leo about the happy thoughts. And to make him happy, I pulled one out of the jar just for him. And as promised, it thoroughly and utterly sucked. So
he did not laugh?
Well, here's the thing.
Or he laughed at you for having it.
This happy thought is stolen.
What?
It's stolen.
How do you mean stolen?
I don't know how familiar you are with Monty Python.
Oh, yeah, very.
Well, let's see if you remember this one. Always look on the bright side of life.
Side of life.
Exactly. When I told him where that sourced from and the imagery of it, he said, wow. He didn't know about it. So anyway.
Man. That is a wonderful film. That's a great film, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I'm sorry, that's Life of Brian. That's also a great film.
You're right. But still, this is bullshit. Now we're going to get to our real happy thought.
Well, it's bullshit only because it's not an original one, but none of these that you pulled are original, really. They're just cliches.
Yeah, but that one I know. That came from Monty Python.
Yes, but before Monty Python, it was already a song anyway.
Okay, so here's the thing. Always look on the bright side of life. Let's not forget that.
You're telling me these two connect already?
Okay. I just want you to know, because of our happy thoughts, so this way you can grow as a person, your potential is endless. I don't know if that's a happy thought, because if I'm like a psychopath, that could actually send me off the brink. Your potential is endless.
No, if you're a psychopath, you're going to be doing what you do, and no matter what, you're just going to be, and you won't even be happy about it. You'll just say, "See, it says that I can do it as long as I'm unlimited in what I want to do."
The psychopath would go ahead and go, not only is my potential endless, but
my next victim.
I'm always going to be looking on the bright side of life.
So, I don't know if you have bright sides.
Are we going to stick with my original idea, which is coming up with different phrases and stuff? Like,
we could do that first if you want. You want to talk about not coming up with phrases. You're talking about bringing up phrases that you said are being misused or misunderstood.
Well, basically, by
hold on. Let me write this down for the show notes.
Subject, but one of the things that bothers me is there's a really excellent phrase that's been misaligned and that is, it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh,
The presumption behind that is based upon historic fact. If you were in a small village and you had a kid and they ran around, he would learn something from everybody. Okay? But unlike the communist doctrine that exists right now, it's not an opportunity to steal your kids because they're not really your kids. Because it takes a freaking village and you're just one of the villagers. So that's the way it's being used. It's like, oh, it takes a village. That means your input into that child is this much compared to the village.
well, yeah. Where in the tribes where that is the way things happen, the whole village watches out for all the young ones, and they teach them as they go along. No, you don't put your foot in that thing. You're going to burn yourself.
They're essentially family.
Yes, basically. More so than in our civilization these days. We were more family like that, I'd say 100, 250, 250 years ago
Yeah. Well,
than we are now.
there's still some of that in some of the smaller communities or in some of the
In
neighborhoods.
rural areas and throughout the South, a lot too. And even in the Midwest. The neighbors can live 5 miles away and they're still, very close.
Well, not physically.
Not physically.
The thing is that back in the turn of the century, 1890s and stuff, some blocks in Brooklyn were known to be a neighborhood. And, people talked about, their relationships with all the people that lived on that block. That was their little village. So unlike the left, where the idea is that all the people that are around the child are there to look after the kid and protect them, the left is all about essentially being worshipped, and they want to go ahead and
Indoctrinating the kid.
indoctrinating the child and basically making the child have no real connection with their roots.
Right. It's funny you say that. It wasn't just in Brooklyn. Where I grew up in Newark, down neck in Newark, at night, people would be outside, especially before there was a lot of air conditioning around. People would be outside on the stoops, and everybody would be talking to everybody else. Everybody would know everybody's name and so forth. It was really a good neighborhood, and we kids could play after dark out there because nobody was going to touch us. If anybody tried, they would have been torn apart, literally.
Well,
Okay? But it was a community feeling. It was a very close community, and that disappeared after the air conditioning came to be, and after immigrants who didn't speak the language that well and came from countries where they weren't that friendly to people, in general. That kind of died away.
yeah, well, yeah. The thing is that yes, what's happened is that we've become a bit more isolated even within these small groups. And like I live in a neighborhood and I know a couple of people and I say hello now and then, but there's really no interaction. There's really
No camaraderie.
yeah, there's no living together in that space. There's just I recognize you and I recognize you.
Yeah, but there's no. Why don't you come over for a barbecue next Saturday and so forth?
See,
Things
the
like
other
that.
thing is in a rural area, anybody who's not a familiar face sticks out. So, like some people from the city get very upset when they're driving down a country road and everybody looks at them. And the reason why they look at them because they're unfamiliar, and they're going to notice them.
But in the cities, they do that too. They'll see somebody from some hick or some, and they'll stare at them. Like, look at this rube. They're
Well,
judging them. In fact,
yeah, that's a ridicule thing. I'm talking about just being alert to the fact that, this person is not part of the neighborhood or part of the area or whatever.
no, it's the same thing, except that they add on the ridicule.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there another phrase that comes to mind?
No, geez. I was gonna. I meant to look up a phrase book I had somewhere, an ebook, but I didn't do
Alexa, do your work for you. I got it. So, what phrases do you use?
all
Wow.
kinds of shit. Like, is the Pope Catholic? Does a bear shit in the forest?
There you go.
Things like that. But that is kind of self-evident, really.
And here's the thing: you
It's
can't
just an answer that it's a sarcastic answer saying yes.
yeah, but the thing is, you can't say that anymore because the Pope isn't Catholic.
Well, not this Pope. He's a oh no,
Uh, he's
Pope is a
he's
Marxist. This
he's a bear taking a shit in the woods. That's what he is. I'm not even Catholic, and I know that he's not.
I'm Catholic, and I know he's not. He's not a fucking fit
Yeah,
Pope.
he
Okay,
doesn't.
I never in my life thought that I would despise a Pope. Never.
Well, I when I stopped being a Roman Catholic, I didn't see
When
the.
you settle down as you were a settled down Catholic, no more Roman. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Sorry, I
Roman
had to get that stupid thing in.
Catholicistic. But anyway, the thing is that when I stopped being that way, okay, the mystique of the Pope disappeared. And, I've always been rather come see, come saw about the Pope. But this guy, even though I'm not Catholic, he pisses me off. He's
Well, the Pope generally pisses people off who are not Catholic. Okay.
no,
Yeah,
because
look.
he's
No, look
breaking
at the Irish,
his
for
own
example.
law.
The Irish Protestants, they hate the Pope. They
He's
hate the Pope.
breaking his own laws. First of all, I'm sorry, but whether people are aware of this or not, homosexuality is still considered a sin in the church.
Yeah.
And if you're the Pope, you're supposed to be the vicar of Christ. You're supposed to be the living embodiment of Christ
Yes,
itself.
but unfortunately, because of the rules they instituted about 400 or 500 years ago, where priests couldn't get married, all of a sudden you have rampant homosexuality in the ranks of the Catholic Church. Rampant. I'm not saying that every single priest is, but probably a great majority of them are. Okay.
Yeah, the thing is that celibacy is a choice, and if it's not a choice, then it's an imposition. And if you're first of all, if you want to go into a religious group and you want to be a priest, and that particular group says you have to be celibate, and you can't live with that, maybe you shouldn't join and be that.
Well, things are different these days than they were, say, a few hundred years ago. Because a few hundred years ago, I mean, the how shall I put this? The priests were, and now I lost my train of thought. That hold on a sec. I lost what I wanted to say. Damn it!
Please don't say they were more ethical.
No, no, not more ethical. They were. Uh, well, when they chose to be celibate, they chose to be celibate for the most part. Yes, but nowadays, what happened was after news got out that there was a lot of fooling around among the priests and altar boys and so forth, or men of the parish. Then a lot of homosexuals started saying, "I can do it." Now, that's what I want to say. Hundreds of years ago, that was one way to get out of the caste you were born into in life. You were
Yes.
either part of the aristocracy or you were not. But if you were not, you might have a chance if you joined the clergy, and then you were somewhat upper class.
Right,
Okay?
right. If you couldn't be a merchant, which is
Yeah,
another.
those guys. I mean, look at Pope Leo. I forget which one, who had the Borgias. He was the father of the Borgia brothers and sister. You know the Borgias, right? Used to
I've
poison
heard the
people.
name a number of times. I know they were in the
Yeah,
past. I never really
yeah,
studied.
Lucretia Borgia, and I
Yeah,
haven't heard. Yeah.
poisonings.
Yes, and they were dukes and stuff. And these people were the sons of a pope, and there were other popes who had children also, and those children were generally part of the aristocracy. They were pretty well off. They were pretty powerful. And what happened was that gave way eventually to this thing where you're either very Catholic and you are trying to be celibate, although some will fall once in a while, or you're homosexual for the most part. Sometimes, wait, you don't have to be a homosexual to cheat. There was one pastor of a church in Newark, named, well, I can name, he's been dead for years, but it was the Portuguese church, and he founded it there. He developed it. He made it a big thing. But he had a penchant for cleaning women who had huge breasts. None of his cleaning women had small breasts. Okay, all of them were rather well endowed. He just had like,
It's
and
gotta have.
we heard tales of it. We didn't believe it at first when we were little, but then later on we found out, yeah, it was true.
Well, I'm going to change the subject. I think the last time we were talking, I said I had some videos and I went to get them and I couldn't find them. I
And you
found them.
found them.
Here they are. Let's see if I can get the glare off of this. Charlie.
Oh,
Charlie's.
I've heard of that.
Yes, it was originally, the book was called Flowers for Algernon. Robinson, what's his?
That's the sequel to Flowers for Algernon, right? Is that the one with Chuck McCann?
No.
No.
They think of The Heart is the Lonely Hunter. No, this is with, I forget his bloody name. Anyway, that's one of them. Good movie.
Okay.
Here's another one. This is the one that was really driving you crazy.
Secret.
Yeah, it's the what does it say?
The Secret.
The source of the secret.
Oh, the source of the secret.
The source of the secret. So this goes before. This is the pre-information.
Where the secret came from.
Right. And this over here is The Trail of Tears and Other Native American History.
Speaking of which, I have to tell you this. I found this out the other day. Okay. When they were training to go to the moon.
Yes.
Okay. They were training out in the desert somewhere out west. Okay. In Navajo country. And there were, one of the guys who was helping the astronauts. So told this one kid who was there with his grandfather that, hey, we're collecting voice prints of people, messages from people all over the world that we're going to send up to the moon when these people go up there. Okay? Do you hear this? Okay. So he tells his grandfather, who only spoke Navajo, didn't speak English, and they asked him if he wanted to say something in Navajo. And he said, yeah, sure. So he goes and they record him saying something, and the grandson laughs, right? And they're like, why are you laughing? He goes, no, nothing. Don't worry about it. Right. So they go, and of course, when they went up, they had all these recordings they left on the moon. Okay. And I don't know what they left it in a box or what. But
I thought that was put on Voyager.
Was it Voyager? I heard it. Well, the story I heard was when they were going to the moon.
They sent it out and they had, hello and 20 different.
That's right. They did say that too. They did do that too. Maybe whoever told this story got that part wrong, or maybe I misunderstood. Anyway,
how's the story?
A year later, apparently they were preparing. They're in the same area, and he saw the kid, and he told the kid, "Your grandfather's thing is up in space or whatever." Okay, he goes, "Oh, cool." So he tells the old man. The old man like smiled. He said, "Can you tell me what it was that your grandfather said?" Because the kid was laughing when he told him. And he said his grandfather's message was, beware the white man. They come to steal your land.
Okay.
I figured that would hit you because you are an adopted Cherokee.
Yeah. But, the thing is, I'm also a white man, so I'm conflicted.
But you were taken into the thing. Yeah, wait, there were people who were kidnapped when they were little who became part of the tribe. There were other people who voluntarily became part of the tribe.
That might have happened, in settler days, if there was a fight and they wiped out some settlers and maybe grabbed the kids.
Yeah.
But a lot of black slaves that ran away became Cherokee. And once they were Cherokee, they couldn't be sent back because of the laws the way they were. So that's one of the things that...
so they escaped slavery that way.
Right. Right. By becoming basically...
So basically they were immune from Jim Crow laws. Is it Jim Crow law?
Oh, no, that came later.
No. What was the law where they had to be returned if they were caught?
Slavery. I don't know.
No,
but anyway, the thing is they used to run away and they used to join the Cherokee Nation because the Cherokee Nation does not believe that blood is the essential determiner of whether or not you're Cherokee.
Okay.
You're Cherokee if your spirit is Cherokee. So anybody could have Cherokee spirit.
Okay. Oh, let's get back to your DVDs there, unless you want to talk any more about
Well, I'm finished. That was the third one, which is the trilogy. It's
Oh,
actually
I thought the way you talked about it last week, I thought it was like a dozen of them or something.
no, it was just three.
Okay.
But
And Trail
also,
of Tears, of course, is for those who don't know, those who aren't familiar with
this,
history,
this is
is
another movie called
right.
Sunshine.
Okay, wait. Trail of Tears is about the Cherokee. What the Cherokee was it?
The Trail
Where
of
they
Tears,
were moved to a reservation, and a lot of them died along the way.
yes, and basically they were pushed out of their houses, their homes, in the middle of October and forced to winter march to Oklahoma.
Yeah, because the lands where they originally were settled were mineral rich. I think they had gold and so forth, right?
Well, you could say that. The fact of the matter is, when you push people out into the middle of winter, you want them to die.
Yeah,
So
a
they
lot of them
wanted
did.
the hell away from the East Coast, whatever their justification was.
So wait a minute, where did they originally where were they originally settled?
As I understand it, in the Virginia, Tennessee area.
And they were pushed out to Oklahoma. Okay.
Right, which is a plain state, which means that they didn't have any of the, all of their wood skills were useless
Yeah.
pretty much out there. So they, half of the population died in transit.
Yeah.
And those who tried to escape, run away, got shot. So, and as
Yeah.
I,
This is why you have those memes with Indians of old holding rifles, saying, you know, give your weapons up to the government. The government will take care of you. Will
yeah,
protect you.
no kidding. Well, the thing is that, the United States government has done some horrible things, and it looks like it's trying to beat all of those records recently.
Oh yeah, under this current regime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a thing going on. I forget which city it is. I know New York City has got a new influx of illegals, and what's happening is that the cartels are there, and they're recruiting the previous illegals into the cartels, and they're finding these people in the shelters. So as Americans, we were good enough to organize this group,
Yeah.
put them all in one spot, so this way this cartel could come in and basically establish their
Authority over
yeah,
there.
their
Do you hear what's happening in Chicago?
I heard that the gangs are confronting the Venezuelan gangs.
The Venezuelan gangs are killing black people, and the black gangs are saying, "Hey, nobody's going to kill blacks except us."
That's right.
So, hopefully there'll be a big battle, and I really hope the Chicago black gangs win because they're at least American. In a
Yeah,
sense.
it's like it's hard to root for anybody in that one, but yeah. Let's put it this way: I hope they wipe each other out. That would be
That
doing
would
it.
be the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that the black gangs in Chicago are more interested, for the most part, in exploiting the population. If you kill everybody, it's there's no money to be made. The Venezuelan gangs, they're out to actually eradicate the general population and take over. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, the general part, I thought it was just the black gangs they wanted to eliminate so that they could take over.
Do you really think that they're going to think of borders? They've already established that they have no respect for them. So, once you get a foothold in a spot, the greed is going to kick in. They're going to want to expand, 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 expand. That's all.
The only solution to that is what they did in El Salvador, where that guy came in and he arrested all those MS-13. Thousands, tens of thousands of people are in a real hardcore prison down there. Okay, and they have no freedoms whatsoever, and they don't deserve it either. They're lucky that he hasn't just executed them all. But then the rest of the world will say, "Oh, he's a war criminal, or he's committing genocide." This that those people deserve to die.
Well, it's unless you're in the middle of it, you're probably not going to get the straight story. I don't know why these people do what they
Part
do.
of it's down a lot. Part of it is because a lot of them came up here. Part of it is because he put a lot of them in jail. Okay.
I'm tired of trying to understand this mess. I just want all these guys to go. And what's interesting is Kamala Harris was in a speech, and she goes, Trump says he wants to deport all these people. What would that look like? And I tell you what it looked like. It looked great.
Yes.
That's my answer. It would look great. And, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you what, I'll chip in on the marshmallows.
Scott Adams came up with a good point today. He said what they're going to do is they're going to start. Trump said he would start with the criminals and start deporting them. Now, even though all the illegals are criminals technically because they came over, illegally, those that have been working here for a few years and who have jobs, regular jobs, and are paying taxes, maybe those you could leave because we don't know if we can get rid of all of them. Okay, but the ones who have jobs and so maybe you could give them a green card or something.
Well, the thing is,
another idea he had, which I thought was fantastic, but it would lead to criminal geniuses coming over here. He said, before anybody can come to the United States, you have to have an IQ of at least 120.
Wow.
This way you would it would be a brain drain on those other countries, and we would get smart people here, not the dumbasses that we're getting right now.
But there's more to a good person than an intellect.
I should go back to what they used to do before. You want to come here, you have to, before you get here, you have to have a job already. You have to have letters saying
and
that
you also have to have money to support yourself.
Exactly. And you have to have people who will support you in case you can't support yourself. Those were the circumstances under which my father came to this country. Okay. It took my mother, who was a citizen, over a year to straighten out the paperwork to call him, even though they were married. And he had to have promises of employment. He had to have letters from people who said, if he can't work for some reason, we will take care of him. There was no welfare in those days. Okay. Welfare didn't come around till the 1964, was it? When LBJ said, I'll have them N-words voting Democrat for 200 years.
Yeah. The thing is that there was social welfare, but it wasn't governmental. It was through the churches and so forth like that.
Mutual aid societies. Why do you think that there were Italian clubs, Polish clubs, the Polish Falcons, the Portuguese clubs?
I thought, wait a second, those clubs all existed so this way there would be a membership that could be organized in such a way as to rob banks.
That's the Italian club.
That's the Italian club, yeah.
No, but seriously, these people, these groups had their own clubs where people from the old country could come in and they could get assistance in finding a job, finding a place to eat, to sleep.
The traditional method was that a couple of people would come over from a different region of the world and they would create a small sub-community somewhere. And that's usually where people went because they
spoke the same language.
Right.
There were places out in Pennsylvania, for example, that only spoke German, for example. Lawrence Welk grew up, he was American, he had that accent, but he had that accent because he grew up speaking German, and he learned English later on in life.
His accent was wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful. And now we have the Andrews sisters are going to
see. This is where it all comes down to. We can talk about this to death. Ultimately, this is what it's about. You have strangers coming into the country. You don't know who they are. You don't know what their intention is. A lot of times you don't even know what their names are. So the thing is, that's unacceptable to have these vagrants running around the country doing God knows what. No, requires law and order. And at the risk of becoming a complete, police state, we need something here. And these shipping 300,000 people by plane over the 4-year period to various cities, so this way you can penetrate deeper into the United States. Totally fucking unacceptable.
Yeah, and those 300,000 were not counted as border encounters because they were shipped in. Okay?
Who paid for them?
I suspect the same thing with the ones they put on buses.
Who paid for them?
We did.
Yeah.
We're paying for our own suicide.
Yeah, and the thing, so we have over 11 million felons in our country that are not American citizens. And I want them out. And I don't want to hear about their sad little stories.
And
Get
every
them the hell
woman
out.
or any American citizen or legal resident who has been killed by one of these people, that never should have happened. The blood is on the hands of this regime. The blood is on the
Actually,
hands of
I'll be honest with you,
Harris.
this is the way it should be. If you are illegally in this country and you rape somebody or you kill somebody or do some sort of felon type action,
Felony. You committed felony.
execute them. Don't send
Yeah,
them.
I agree. And they don't have the rights that American citizens have. They don't follow our Constitution. They don't believe in our Constitution. They have no rights under our Constitution. They
Right.
should be executed immediately.
Right. And the thing is that I think there should be a review because, we don't want to kill.
No. You have to put them on trial, of course.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not going to be necessarily the peers either. See, once you cross into our country illegally, you've lost any kind of rights that you might think that you deserve. You're not
according to the left, which is trying to they just see Democrat votes. That's all they see.
right. So here's the thing: if you come across the country, across the border, without the law on your side, okay, then you are a threat to this country.
Yeah.
If you're a threat to this country,
you're an invader.
You're an invader. So the thing is that you have no rights except for the rights that we offer you. And in order to get those rights, you expose yourself to the proper authorities and you have to get, here's a strange word, permission to enter.
Yeah.
Permission to enter. And then stay in touch. If you disappear and you go off into the weeds, then we should hunt you down.
Also, what a lot of these people are not doing they're coming here just for the handouts. That's it. If there were no handouts, they wouldn't come. Not as many would come. Although the ones sent by Russia, Iran, and China, those military-age men who are coming in with no families, they would still come. Okay? But those are the ones who are really invaders and should be stopped at the border and with all necessary force.
Well, I can't blame these people for taking advantage of the corruption
Yes,
of our government
exactly.
to seduce these people into our country. I understand that, and under certain circumstances, we might be able to work something out. But the fact of the matter is that they're here illegally, and until they're vetted, they should not have any freedom whatsoever.
Yes, and the other thing is, none of them seem to have the slightest interest in assimilating. That was the difference between the immigrants that built this country and the ones who are now tearing it down. Because every immigrant group that came here contributed to it and assimilated. They learned the language. They learned the customs. They may have had their own customs anyway that they kept their own at home or in a social club or whatever. But they, in general, obeyed American laws, obeyed American customs, and they followed the American way of doing things.
Well, first of all, this conversation is ludicrous in and of itself. It should have never gotten this far that we have to speak.
But it has. Unfortunately, it has.
So a lot of times I hear, people on our side address the rationale of why and a person who's not in this country should not be voting in American elections.
That's ridiculous.
Why is that a conversation? Why is that being dignified in any way?
Because it's the only way that side can win elections.
Well, I understand the intent, but the thing is that by us dignifying that issue with an argument gives them the opportunity to counter argue. The fact of the matter is it's illegal, it's wrong, and it should be stopped. And that's all there's.
And if they don't want to stop it, then we should have Nuremberg type tribunals for these people. And I, for one, would be happy to see certain government figures go to the gallows after a trial. after being found guilty of treason, because that's what they're doing. They are betraying the American people. They are betraying the United States of America. They are betraying their oaths of office. They are
No, I
betraying the
have
Constitution.
a better solution.
What?
A far better solution. All these leftists that have broken our trust and have become traitors to this country,
Put them on the island and send the bomb?
we should put them on big treadmills and make them green energy. So for the rest of their life, they generate green energy by being on these treadmills and making the generators run. That would be a way of giving back. I would actually, when they die, I would forgive them at that point.
There's a group now that they've been around for a while, but there's a group now that's making a lot of noise saying that humanity has to die off. I think Elon Musk posted that.
Here's the thing: if humanity dies off, who's going to know?
Well, my answer to the post was, why don't they set the example and go first?
Right, that's a great
Let
idea.
them kill themselves. Nobody will stop them. Nobody will be upset that they're gone, and they'll get what they want, reducing the population. Please,
Yeah.
go away.
Show us your conviction. Commit suicide.
Assisted or unassisted, doesn't matter.
Well, I don't want to assist them because then I'll go to jail. But, the thing is that...
Oh, yeah, that's right. What's his face? Dr. Death did go to jail for a while. What was his name? Kevorkian?
In the past 6 to 8 years, there has been an assault upon the American people that has caused the vast majority to go insane. And these people are mentally ill. And the thing is that because they are in the circle of these power brokers, and they're useful idiots, okay, they're allowed to continue. And the thing is that I'm talking about people who believe that they can become another gender. Okay, there's a joke.
Oh, God.
But there's all kinds of illness. There's people that are just absolutely bloated and they're a mess. And I don't blame them for being depressed given their present circumstance, but there is a way out. And if we had a healthy society, there would be people that could guide them and give them hope. Okay. But the problem is that we have a power base that's parasitical, and they will absorb these people. They will consume these people.
And they will use these people because these are votes to them.
Right.
Okay? Again, these people who are manipulating these mentally ill people and creating them, including the media, which is feeding this stupid frenzy.
Right.
Okay? They should be held accountable.
Well, accountability, to some extent, CNN has lost a vast majority of its listeners. It's left and right. Look at what happened to Disney. Disney lost billions of dollars because of their woke agenda.
And they don't seem to care, though. They're still churning out bullshit. They've destroyed the Star Wars franchise.
First of all, they care because they lost money, and that's what they care about. So they do care. They're just very good at putting up a face. That's all. So it's like
the stockholders may care, but the people running the place, they just want to advance the agenda.
But they can't, because if their industry is being assaulted and diminished, they're losing their platform. Again, I do believe they care. I do believe they feel the pain, and they're just they just don't know how to get out of that hole. It's like Budweiser, with their Bud Light shit. Okay, that really hurt them. It also hurt everybody that worked at Budweiser.
And it cost them $100 million that they had to pay to Dana White, who owns the UFC, for him to accept their commercials and during the UFC things. Okay? Gotcha. So they had to pay $100 million to try and get back some of those billions they lost.
Right, because I had a conversation with the guy at Dick's Sporting Goods. And he was a manager. He is a manager. And he was trying to explain to me that I shouldn't be disappointed with Dick's for no longer carrying firearms and ammunition and such.
Oh, even in Pennsylvania now?
Well, in this particular one. So anyway,
because they stopped it here in New Jersey years ago.
okay. So the thing is that I had this conversation with them, and I tried to explain to him. You had a clientele here that was loyal to you, and you chose to not support them anymore. So why in the
Spit
world
in their face.
I be here? I said I used to come here for a few things. Okay, I would walk through the store, and every once in a while I would get something that was not gun related. But the fact of the matter is that I said my main motivation for coming here is gone. So you talk about business. I'm telling you, you've turned your back on this particular group of clients, and because of that, you're going to lose that income. And convincing me isn't going to change anything. I understand you're running a business. You made this choice. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to do business here. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So, he didn't, and then I got tired of trying to explain that to him because he's one of those cats that clearly has had this conversation numerous times, and he had his bullet points in his head. And I think
He's been told what to say.
Yeah. So, the thing is that it's like Kamala Harris, right? Kamala Harris is not answering any of the questions. When you ask her a question, she tells you, I was a middle class kid, grew up and
she comes up with all bullshit, and these so-called reporters don't ask follow-up saying what's
right.
the answer to the question.
But you don't do that. What she does is she answers the question by talking about what might be considered her life story, presuming because it was her life story.
Unrelated shit.
Yeah, even we all know that.
She said to Oprah, when Oprah said, "I was surprised to find you own a gun," she goes, "Oh yeah, well, anybody who breaks into my house, they're dead." And then she goes, I guess I shouldn't have said that.
Right. Right. Well, the thing is that she's surrounded by security anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the thing is that my point is that she doesn't answer any of the questions, and everything.
Interviews.
Yeah, and she wants more and more evidence shows that the debate with Trump was absolutely biased, and and we're getting all kinds of information coming out, and they made the good news is Trump now is now registered as having the same level of security as a sitting president.
Right.
Well, I'll believe it.
Especially since they put a target on his back. Did you see what Routh did? The guy who tried to kill him. Remember that tranny? What was her name? The one, the Nashville shooter. They wouldn't release her manifesto. She had a big manifesto. They would not release it. Crowder's group managed to get the first few pages of it and released it. Then there were lawsuits and all. They couldn't do shit because they were real. Okay. Then after over a year, with all kinds of FOIA things, they finally released most of or all of the thing, but a lot of it has been redacted. They're trying to protect. And you know what their excuse was for not releasing the manifesto originally?
Yeah.
We don't want copycat coming up. But they have just released, soon after he was arrested, this thing that this guy Routh had written. He has put a $150,000 bounty on on President Trump. Now, how's he going to get this money? Because he doesn't have a job that they can point at.
He offered it to an individual.
An individual who could do it. No, anybody who could do it. It's a bounty.
Because there was a package, and he said, "Do not open this package unless the right situation." The guy opened the package, and there was all this paperwork in there, and promised that.
Yes, but you don't think some people are gonna say, "Oh, I can collect a $150,000 bounty," and some assholes, right, who don't see that you're never gonna get the money. I mean, this guy. But they released that. They're not worried about copycats. They're not worried about somebody going after the bounty. Okay, another example of double standard. Also, he was flying to Ukraine. He flew to Afghanistan to try and get Afghan fighters to go and fight in Ukraine, not just Americans. And he flew to Hawaii. You know, this guy has no money and no visible means of support.
He was
How
arrested.
is he doing all this traveling?
He was arrested over 70 times, and it was always released.
Also, he was he had been caught years ago with illegally in possession of a firearm, and he was not supposed to have firearms. Yet he had a 47 or similar weapon to try and kill President Trump the other day.
Yeah, SKS.
It was an SKS. That's what I thought when I saw it, but it didn't look like an AK-47.
Well, the thing is that they both shoot the same ammo.
But that's what the media said. Oh, it's an AK-47.
Yeah. Well,
they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
It doesn't matter whether you get shot by an AK-47 or you get shot by an SKS. It's the same fucking bullet.
Yeah, I know.
The thing is that it's not as accurate as certain stuff, but within 300 yards, it's more than enough. SKS is an excellent little weapon. It used to be inexpensive and easy to come by. I don't know why, but it's dried up. You can get AKs easier now than you can get SKSs sometimes. So I think it's a good weapon. It's, in my mind, the best thing about the SKS is that it is not vulnerable to misfires in regards to like dirt getting into it. It can handle a lot of abuse. Its only main problem is the potential of slam firing.
Yeah, it's like a long rifle version of the Glock in that respect. Okay, do you know that the guy who's in charge of President Trump's safety, the guy who was put in charge of President Trump's security, he had to scrub his posts of his anti-Trump rants when he got the job. Okay, this is the guy they put in charge of protecting him. The guy who hates him. The guy who hates him. Let's see. All right.
Well,
Crooks also. They still haven't released, haven't been able to get his encrypted foreign conversations. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. Wait. This guy, Crooks, and this other guy, they're saying that maybe these guys are, maybe who's behind them is not necessarily the regime, but maybe Iran, maybe Russia, maybe Ukraine, maybe China. We don't know. Somebody is trying to. Iran would love to kill President Trump, but they know that if they have an Iranian kill the president, you're going to rain down misery on Iran.
Well, you do know that Putin has endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yes, and so has the IRS union. What the fuck does the IRS union have to exist for?
Well, they have to exist for Kamala Harris. Because
they're afraid of 87,000 new hires getting kicked out.
And Trump gets the job, then the IRS, all those clowns are gone.
Did you see what he said recently about not just the no taxes on tips, but now he's saying that he wants to eliminate taxes on overtime.
Yes. And also
stimulate the economy, incentivize people to work more.
And no tax on Social Security.
What's that?
No tax on Social Security.
Oh, that too. But somebody asked in some podcast, I wonder how long it's going to take for Kamala to come up with the same thing and make believe it's hers.
Well, here's the thing. They keep saying that the only people that will benefit is billionaires in the United States if Trump gets elected. Yet, what has he done? No taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security, and no taxes on overtime. Who does that affect? I think it affects the middle class.
Middle class and lower class, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is no lower class in the United States. You know that.
No, there are 3 tiers.
You're giving me tears right now. That's what you give me.
Did you see that there's a town up in Michigan?
Yes, the Muslim.
The entire council is made up of Muslims, and the mayor just endorsed Donald Trump.
Not only did he endorse him,
they're panicked because they may lose Michigan.
That not only did he endorse Trump, but he publicly said, "I don't care what anybody thinks. This is the best man for the job, and I don't care what you think. I don't care." So it's like he's basically giving the old finger to anybody who's going to bitch about the fact that he endorsed him.
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah, and now you know that if he's doing it, that other Muslims throughout Michigan are gonna say, well, I guess I'm gonna vote for Trump,
Once, see, the thing is,
and
courage.
maybe throughout the country.
Courage is contagious.
Yeah.
Because once you have somebody break the ice, all of a sudden people go, "Oh, there's a hole in the ice, we can get out." And the thing is that the numbers for Trump right now are constantly improving, and that's even in some of the most bogus reports. So there's that, and oh my God, everywhere you go.
You see that guy Scott Pressler? He's been going throughout Pennsylvania trying to get people to register as Republicans, and he is single-handedly almost turning Pennsylvania from a blue state to possibly a red state.
I'll say this: it was red. Our votes were
Used
stolen.
to be, yeah.
But did you see what Timpon Waltz? He was
Tampon Tim.
Timpon Waltz.
Tampon Tim.
Timpon. That's what I call him. So
Okay,
anyway,
that's good. That's good. That
so
fucking scumbag.
he was giving a speech, and at the end of it, he goes, "Vote. We cannot have another 4 years of this." And it's like, but you're the last 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So he
The 4 years before that were good.
Yeah. Well, the point is that he said we can't have 4 more years of this, meaning the present situation, which means that was run by the Democrats. So that was run by Harris and Biden. So,
hey, did you see what the latest travesty that Governor Newsom of California has engaged in? He has doubled the tax on, where is it? Doubled the tax on.
Okay.
This is a country that was founded on not wanting to pay a little tax on some tea, and on stamps. And now they're over. My God, the founding fathers would say, "You people are fucking nuts," because they fought for a little tiny tax not to be imposed on them, and we have over half of our income being taken away by different taxes. Well over.
The founding fathers would have fired a volley already. Kicked their asses.
They would have put Rome to shame. Remember in that scene in Spartacus where they crucified the slaves who had revolted? Spartacus at the end.
At the very end.
At the very end. They said not crucified. It would be nice to see all these people hanged.
Well, a crucifixion is a horrible death.
Yes, it is. Very bad. Very bad. That's the worst. One of the worst deaths you could endure, actually.
Again, I would rather put them all on treadmills and let them spend the rest of their life generating electricity for my coffee pot.
Oh, did you see there was another attempted assassin? Pakistani national was arrested. He was coming to try and kill Trump. Okay, so the Pakistanis are stupid enough to say, "Yeah, we killed your president. What are you going to do about it? Because we got nuclear weapons too. Yeah, but they can't be delivered as fast as ours, and we know where yours are for the most part."
The Israelis are kicking ass.
What?
The Israelis are kicking ass.
Thank God. Oh man, yeah, they just bombed. The media is making a big fuss that they bombed. I don't know how many people and killed 3,000 people or something. Good. They fucking deserve to be dead. They are terrorists. They have no business being alive.
Actually, what the media is complaining about, they said a couple of women and innocent women and a couple of children were killed by the
idea
bombs.
Yeah.
And the thing
damage.
that just it wasn't. They weren't targeted. Okay.
Not only that, where's this information coming from? I guarantee you, it's coming from Hamas or Hezbollah.
It's not impossible to believe. If there's over 3,000 bombs that went off, there's going to be collateral damage.
Bombs? I thought it was 3,000.
They're fucking war. And the thing is that the thing is that I don't know why they had it. That's just, it's tough shit. That's all there is to it. Yeah. You're talking about a bunch of people that use their own citizens as human shields. So, This is what you get.
Hey, you know how that Trump is not the only one who's been called Hitler by the Democrats? They have done this. Oop, what the hell? Mike, you there? I don't see anything.
I'm here.
Shit, what the hell did I? Oh, I opened another window in front of this. Oop. I was like blinded suddenly.
Okay.
Anyway, every Republican for decades now has been called Hitler by the Democrats, starting with Nixon. I believe even Ford was. Reagan, they called Hitler. They called the two Bushes Hitler. They called who was it? And of course they called President Trump Hitler. Meanwhile, the ones who are acting like Hitler are Obama and and Biden. I won't even say Clinton. Obama and Obama. Remember when he did that rally in Denver? They had it looked like a Hitler rally before he got elected the first time.
Well,
But nobody in the legacy media would bring that up.
the thing is that the left makes a habit of projecting their own sins. The thing is that everything that they declare that you are, they are. If they say that
Howard and Piven.
they say that you're prejudiced, guess who's prejudiced? The accuser,
So
etc.
Howard and Piven, and who Hillary loved, and also that other jerk.
Actually,
They said accuse the other side of doing what you're doing.
it's actually written in one of the manuals on Communist Manifesto thing, where what you do is you accuse the people that are in opposition to you of all of these terrible things, what they are, all these terrible things. And the thing is that people will remember that accusation and they will be crushed by it. So the thing is like, if you have a large enough public forum, and if somebody goes ahead and says, you, sir, are this, and all of a sudden there's a lot of noise and everything, like it's like what the left does with bullhorns. You're going someplace and they got a bullhorn, and you're trying to tell people stuff, and the bullhorn is so loud nobody can hear you. They mask your voice because they're afraid of it.
Yeah, that's. Oh, speaking of voices, silencing voices, Soros, who we know is responsible in large part for all these big cities having all this rampant crime and nobody getting indicted for it or sent to jail for it. They get arrested and they're released right away if they get arrested. Well, Soros now wants to buy about 200 radio stations in the United States that would affect I don't know how many hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah,
that motherfucker, he should be a target. I wish the IDF would target him. Then I would be happy to give Israel an extra $1 billion out of our tax dollars.
Well,
that motherfucker, he is the worst thing that.
We cannot punish anybody until we settle our own bed. And we are in disarray. We're disorganized.
You know that his son, Soros' son, has visited the White House 30 or 40 times.
Okay.
The Soros family is part of who's running this country.
Here's the thing. Biden is in the White House. That pretty much invalidates everything. So the thing is that we have to settle our own space. We have to consolidate as a people. We have to stop being impotent and actually create a consequence for these people.
Yeah, but it gets worse. It gets worse, Mike, because. All right, go ahead. Finish your thought, because then I'm going to tell you why I'm so bothered.
The more these criminals get away with, the more bolder they become, and therefore the further they push. And until we start punishing these people, until we start stepping on them, until we start truly standing against them instead of just talking,
Okay, well, here's the thing. The FCC, this would take at least a year for the FCC to approve this, if they approve it, this purchase. However, 3 Democrats on the committee have overridden, and they have told the FCC, no, rush this through. They want the sale to go through as soon as possible.
Even though that's illegal.
They don't care that it's illegal. They do everything illegally.
Well, then
these are people who, as I say, they deserve the gallows.
Then it's Dodge City, baby. I'm sorry, but if there's no respect whatsoever for the law, then it's time to be lawless.
Yeah, when the lawmakers become the lawbreakers, you got to change things.
Right.
Just like they did in Athens, Georgia, years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think Mike Johnson is going to be banged out because he's absolutely.
He might be in Epstein's book or something. I don't know.
It doesn't matter why he's incompetent. He just is. And the only thing going for Mike Johnson is he appears to be a likable guy. That's it. That's all he's got going for him. So we need somebody with some backbone that actually has integrity, that is not politically motivated. One of the problems with Mike Johnson was he didn't have enough experience. Just imagine this. You got just a few years of experience, and all of a sudden you have this critical job at a critical point in history. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't do a better job than Mike Johnson. I don't know anything about that work. Okay. So the thing is that it is a skill I do not possess, being a politician, being able to manage Congress and so forth like that, understanding the mechanisms and so forth. It's not that I couldn't learn. It's just that it would take years and years and years.
What is missing in everyone who's been in that position as speaker is they are not following the Constitution. You follow the Constitution, you will, that as a guide, that will guide you to the right decisions. They're not doing that. They haven't been doing that.
But
mostly that cunt. Oh my God.
Okay.
And that's an insult to cunts. Cunts can be very, very good.
The Constitution is kind of like a measuring stick. Okay. But the thing is, being in Mike Johnson's position requires you to know where to measure and what to measure. And I think he's just out of his depth. Okay. But he should not be in the position
because he doesn't have balls.
It doesn't matter what he doesn't have. He's out of his.
He doesn't have the balls to do what he's supposed to do. He knows what he's supposed to do. He doesn't because he wants to be. He's going along with the uniparty.
I
for
think
whatever reason.
I think his biggest problem is that he wants to be liked.
That's the biggest problem of the rhinos in general. Yeah.
So
I prefer Marjorie Taylor Greene, who the left hates her, but she is coming up with the truth.
Jim Jordan,
another one who's being attacked. Okay, right. They are not there to be invited to the cocktail parties. Okay. All right, listen, let's finish this up, but I want to give you three things to show you how low the New York Times has gone. And I'm not even talking politically now, right now.
All right.
But these are three actual things.
It appears that based upon what you're ready to say, that your potential is endless.
Yes.
And I'm always going to look on.
All right. I don't know if that applies, but anyway. Okay. Here are some New York Times headlines. Okay.
Go for it.
After their divorce, she was the best man at his second wedding. That's a story. That's a big story for the New York Times. Another one. Junk food, high art. They're trying to say that you can make art out of junk food.
Yes, you can. You can make art out of anything.
Yes, but this is important stuff that the New York Times, the paper of record, all the news that fits, not all the news that's fit to print. It's all the news that fits these days.
Well, I mean, there's a New York Times, so the art department, it's like
finally this one. This is the worst one. Get to know the misunderstood Canada Goose. Nobody likes those fucking geese. I wish the Haitians would be given carte blanche to kill as many Canadian geese as they wanted to. They're nasty creatures. They attack you for no reason. They shit all over the place. There was one guy, he was saying when he was in the service that he had to, they were on some field where the geese were always shitty. He said they had to go through their daily physical, physical training, rolling around in this shit, sit-ups, push-ups, everything, all with this shit all over the place, and
Right.
all over them.
That sounds like the military.
Anyway, I think that kind of wraps it up. Unless you want to hear a new Dr. Seuss thing, Dr. Seuss-like thing. Not Dr. Seuss. It's Dr. Seuss-like.
Go for it.
It's supposedly for old men. Yeah. Here it is. I cannot see. I cannot pee. I cannot. What the hell? I cannot chew. I cannot screw. Oh my God! What can I do? My memory's shrinking. My hearing stinks. No sense of smell. I look like hell. My body is drooping. Have trouble pooping. The golden years have come at last. The golden years can kiss my ass. I don't know who wrote that. I can't give credit because I have no idea. I found it posted somewhere on social media, but I can't even remember where. Okay, I see that. It's putting you to sleep.
It's just I don't know how to follow prose like that.
Well,
but anyway, I have a rhyme for you.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, and I'm gonna invent it as I say it. So it's never been in existence before. So here it comes. Ready? I say hello to Kamala Harris. You really, when it comes to the country, embarrass. When times are gloomy and things are dark, I'm quite sure you're performing oral in the park.
You should have put loony in there somewhere. It would have gone.
Now, go and get really drunk, get into a stupid funk, and go find waltz and dance all day, and get the hell out of my fucking way.
And see if Walls will let you play with his balls.
Oh, God. If he has them. I think his wife has them in the refrigerator.
His wife is another harpy, too.
She's a psycho.
I saw her doing a Hitler-like rant at some rally.
Yeah, she looks literally demonic. Her eyes bug out. She's doing an AOC with the eyes.
Well, that's the thing. AOC, her, all these like shit, 50 shit, they all have the wide eyes. The people in the media, they're all.
Yeah, that's because
they're crazed.
Well, yeah, when you take cocaine all the time, that's what happens.
All right. Well, we've gone an hour and 11 minutes here. Those last 2 minutes probably we could have done without.
Yes.
But I have a history of never cutting or editing these things.
Yeah.
This is spontaneous. This is real.
Period when we were doing 10 to 15 minutes, which were good, but now we're beating a dead horse and we're going on and on.
No. We're putting 15-minute segments together. We got 5 of them today.
Yeah.
Or we got 3 or 4
When I was 5 or 6 years old, I remembered this poem. I'm gonna tell you this poem.
All right, let's see.
It's called "A Louse in the House." No, it's from a book called "A Louse in the House." It's the poem. I met a man at 1 o'clock who said hello at 2. At 3 to 4, I said to him, "How do you do?" At 5 to 6, he said goodbye and started on his way. I'm very glad to have met him, but he hadn't much to say. I remember that from being a little kid. I mean, I was like 5, 6 years old. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I can see how that would enchant you back then. Yeah, I can understand why that stayed with you actually.
Yeah. Green eggs and ham, Sam, I am.
All right. So with that, we're going to say good night. Remember, folks, Mike, you want to tell people where they can get your game, Frontline?
If you want a copy of Frontline Strategy Edition or Frontline Tactics Edition, go to site called The Game Crafter, gamecrafter.com, and just type in Frontline Strategy Edition or Frontline Tactics Edition, and I'll take you right to it.
Okay. And I think that's all we got for today. I think I said this at the beginning of the thing. We are on putting this up on YouTube. I'm going to be posting this on Getter, Gab, Winkin, I think it's called, and X.
Yes, and also don't forget.
Oh, and Instagram Reels too.
This is an opinionated conversation. Right. Nothing that we say is gospel. And
these are our opinions. This is the opinion of two guys who grew up in an America the way it's supposed to be, where we are free to express our opinions. And that's what we've done all along. If you don't like it,
all it should have been. It certainly was.
Please like and share the program if you like it. If you don't like it, share it anyway with your enemies. Give us 5 stars and leave some comments, please. Leave us some comments. Good or bad, we'll read them all eventually.
Hopefully Roy will stop with his suicidal tendencies.
No, I have no suicidal tendencies.
Yeah.
I don't think Michael has either. So
really is.
Our opinions, some people might say, oh, you're suicidal to express those opinions. No, fuck you. I'm not suicidal at all. I have a lot I want to live for.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty much pissed in general. So basically all those people who would see us as their enemy, you can go fuck yourself.
I agree with that. I like that. That's probably the best thing you've said all day. All show. Okay. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you next time.
God bless America.
And God bless America. Yes. And God damn Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Tampon Tim, and all those scumbags.
Already done. It's already done. These guys are definitely damn. Can't you tell?
Yeah. Well, okay. Good night.
Adios. Let me turn off my phone.
What the hell happened here? It's stopping, but it hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah, that's because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.